Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bada Boomer Live. Man, I guess better late than never. 26 minutes late, I tell you, man. You would expect a better work ethic from a boomer. I would expect a better work ethic. At least from this boomer. I can't even get my camera to stay in focus today. This is gonna be a fun one. You guys, thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for coming. Let me see here. All right, I'm going to tell you guys right now, everything is falling apart on me today. Hopefully, I'm streaming and this is coming across all right. I still don't think I have full. There we go. Focus. Hey, everybody. All right. Welcome to Bada Boomer Live, man. I'll tell you. So, best laid plans. I had everything all set up. It was perfect. The whole stream was ready to go. And I had 4 minutes left. And I'm like, oh, and I'm screwing with my monitor like I'm doing right now, which I'm not going to do too crazy. And everything just, no power in my system. I'm like, what? I have no idea what's going on. The other day, my wireless adapter died on me. So it's this week, man. I'm going to get through this week. My in-laws are still in town. I still have to talk quiet about that because they're like right up there. It's been an aggravating week. So I'm telling you right now, we're going to make this work. Being as late as we are, here we go. I'm telling you guys, this is crazy. All right. We're going to kill all of this. I think I've got everything going. We're going to give it a few more minutes. I think that what I'll do is, since we're pulling this out. Hey, what's up, Sad Max? Hey, man. Everything's coming across 5x5, right? Like, you can hear me and everything's good. I just want to make sure because things were getting a little crazy over here when I lost all the power in my computer. And then I rebooted everything. And then it still didn't want to work out on me. It was like everything was going super ridiculously slow. So I had to restart. Anyway, well, I'll tell you this. Since I've had some of you guys tell me that you enjoy my anecdotes, let me tell you about something that happened yesterday. And I was playing, and we had snipers show up in Cherno. It's just two guys. And this was last night, all right? So I can talk about it now. And I'm looking at my buddy. He's like all the way down in front of the train station on the tracks. And there's a whole there were many teachable moments in this scenario, but I'll only focus on a couple. Anyway, so I'm talking to him, and I'm like, we heard a gunshot, you should watch out. All of a sudden his head explodes. He's like, I want to say like maybe almost 200 meters, 150 meters away from me, right? And so I duck down and I'm like watching. He's like freaking out. Watch my corpse. Don't let anybody get my stuff. And I'm like, all right, dude. All right. I'll keep an eye out, whatever I can do. So I'm just like crouched down. I'm watching. And like a couple of minutes pass. And then these two guys show up. Now, you got to understand, I'm like looking straight ahead. They come from over here, okay? And so they're like, oh, man, did you hear that shot? And I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, here, why don't we, go to the church? I'm playing Reverend Alessandro, of course. And we go and we run over to the church. And, I'm like trying to get now, look, here's the thing, okay? I know as a player, OOC, I know 100% that these guys are sniping people out. I just know it because I have that intuition. I'm a player. Anyway, and my friend just got killed. What I figured they did was they continued along this way and then came up. And they just happened to run into me because they probably didn't even know I was there. But anyway, the problem is that the Reverend Alessandro doesn't necessarily know this, right? And the way they presented themselves, the direction they came from, it all made sense to where as I'm playing in this character, it doesn't even occur to me that I should be like pulling my gun and shooting them the first chance I get, even though as a player, it's what I really want to do, But I was like, no, I'll play it out. And we went to the church, and we were talking and all this stuff. If nothing else, I was keeping them distracted from looting my buddy, who incidentally did end up getting to his stuff. That was pretty cool. But anyway, so long story short, I'm talking to these guys. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go plant some seeds. They're like, cool. I go off. I come back out. I'm walking out. And the guy's like, hey, Reverend. And I turn, and I'm ready to shoot, actually. I'm ready to pull my gun. And the guy's like, hey, check this out, or whatever. And he's walking up to me. And then I fall over, you're dead. And so, of course, he was distracting me so his buddy could snipe me out. They got my seeds. Anyway, the key to this, the point of the story was that I respawned. And I'm sitting there, and I'm, running back. I'm like, crap, I got a crappy spawn. I'm running back. And the guy that I'm playing with, who's talking to me and everything, is like, man, you are taking this, like, really, really well. And I'm like, how else am I supposed to take it? How else am I supposed to take it? I knew in my heart that, I was going to end up dying if I didn't do something. And it didn't even, push me to do anything because I was in character. And that is a role player's dilemma. I mean, it just is. It's rough. It's rough being a role player. All right, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the Gaming Workshop. I actually didn't put here. We'll do this. You see, because what had happened was, there you are. The Gaming Workshop. I had all these changes. Here, I'll even do it on the fly. I had all these changes set up. So I had this other new chatting screen for us to chill on. Here, I'll do this. Ba-ding, there we go. Look at that. On the fly. Now, when you guys type in chat, and if you want to join the Discord, there it is. Ba-ding. And you know what is even better? That did not show up in my window. See, I had all this set up before, and then when everything crashed, it reset it all. So I guess it's not going to work if that's not going to work. I was so looking forward to looking at your chat and reading it. Let's see. Yes, there it is. I guess you actually have to talk. I guess the Nightbot stuff doesn't work. That's fun. So anyway, we play on DayZ Underground. Ta-da! Which you can find there is the link. Of course, if you're live, you'll see it. If you're not, you won't, because now I get to look at the chat. It looks like I'm actually looking at the chat. It's crazy. I'd rather look at you. I'm going to look at you guys. So tonight, we're going to talk about winning. Really, and what it means in this setting. DayZ, and especially on Doug, and I would just go as far as to say role-playing games in general, don't have a typical win-loss, kind of setup that people generally expect. The problem comes is, like, remember we were talking last week about how at Doug we're blending playstyles. Right? So we have like role players, and we have PvPers, and we have casuals and hardcores, and we have everything in between. And, we even have people who just would probably treat it like a battle royale game or, whatever. However you want to play, you're welcome to bring that to Doug. But the idea, of course, is to try to integrate the way that we're playing together so that, we're cognizant of the kinds of expectations that the different play styles have or that different people have, in the hopes that we'll, be able to get along, because a lot of these play styles traditionally do not get along. And here's another aspect of that anecdote that I was starting the show with, especially in regards to that, because here, I was role-playing actually in this whole scene. And what led up to my being shot, okay, in character by these guys who were just really PvPing. They were kind of role play light, the kind of people that PvP, but then they use a role playing explanation just to justify it, So like that comes later. Oh, thank you very much for the follow, man. Here, I got to actually do this because it's going to drive me nuts. I got to move because I did this on the fly. There we go. Now my alerts will appear above the Gaming Workshop, which works out perfect. Anyway, so get this, right? I was kind of mad because I got killed. I was like, man, this sucks. But I played it out, and I was just like, well, I didn't get mad. I didn't express my frustration. I just said, yeah, all right, it's fine. This will be a new adventure. I'm doing something different tonight. And then I ended up running into somebody who I had not met before. And you know, the Reverend Alessandro, he's got a cassette tape out there somewhere that I hear about, that somebody leaked one of his sermons out into the world. Anyway, so this guy had actually heard the cassette but had never met the Reverend Alessandro, this guy that I ran into. And we ended up running all the way back to Cherno together. And it ended up being this really cool experience where I got to meet somebody I'd never met before. He got to meet somebody he had wanted to meet. And it was all because of these PvP guys that just showed up and disrupted my roleplay. It just gave me something completely different to roleplay. And it was fun. Anyway, I went off on that tangent as well. But there's a reason for it. It's because of this idea of winning. You know, everybody wants the big W. Okay, so look, you got to understand, for PvPers, I, have PvP'd. I play first-person shooters, whatnot. I understand that, like you go and you enter an arena or whatever it is, and you battle it out, you get your objectives, you do whatever you can to get there, and then you win. Your name is on a scoreboard, you got to score, you win. Obviously, if you've ever played DayZ, it doesn't work that way. There is no scoreboard. I like to look at the fallacy of winning, the idea that there is like an end game or some kind of a win in DayZ. I kind of like to look at it like the difference between DayZ and your traditional video game role-playing game, because in those games, and I think most people are familiar with it, you're running around, the kind of quest structure that they have. You're running around, you go and you talk to somebody, right? You need something from them. So they say, okay, well, here, you have to go do this, whether it's deliver something, go kill something and pick something up and bring it back, or whatever. It's, some kind of errand quest, whatever. You have to go and fulfill a need for them to come back and all that. Well, guess what? DayZ, and especially on Doug, is a role-playing environment, but we don't even have that, you see. So for role players, we have to take, especially people that grew up on video role-playing, you have to take all these preconceived notions of what you're expecting from the game that you're playing and kind of set them aside, because it works differently. For a role player in this game, we're not running around doing quests. Thank you for the follow, man. We're not running around performing actual quests and doing this. We're running around and interacting with other human beings. There are no pre-programmed NPCs. And so for the people who like, PvE games, there's really no, there are zombies, right? But there's no real enemy to interact with other than players. And for PvPers, man, it's like they really want to get that win. They want to have that feeling of success. Oh, I put all this effort into something and it's culminated into this exciting moment. And for role players, often that's story, or when you're playing and there's something just really intense happening on the screen in front of you, something that you feel like you're a part of. To you, that may be a win, So how do we balance all of this? Where we've got people who, like, for instance, expect one thing and other people who expect another. Okay, well, I like to go back to anecdotes, the way that I've handled certain things. Like, for instance, the anecdote I started the whole night with, the sniper incident in Cherno, where I got killed. And I'm like, oh, well, I lost. This sucks, they ruined my night. But I didn't take it that way. It was just a matter of the way I wanted to perceive it. And guess what? They got to have their fun because they wanted to go on a kill crazy rampage, and they did that. Even my buddy, he got back to his corpse. Like I said, he even showed up and went after them for some weird reason and got killed again and went back. So there was like, they got to have a lot of back and forth themselves. The problem is that when we try to push our winning expectations onto other people. And this comes into play, I think, I would like to say, I don't say like, PvPers are bad or they misbehave or whatever, just trying to get what they want out of the game. It's just that, if you go overboard, which is something we're going to get into a little later on the don't be a jerk aspect. But if you go overboard, it takes the fun out of an encounter. Like, that happened, okay, and for me, and it was fun. I dealt with it. I rolled with the punches. I got more different opportunities to role play out of it, and I ended up making it fun for myself. But now, if every time I'm running around town, people are showing up and killing me, or I'm having to be in these combat situations and I can't get a hold of it in a role play way, like, creating a faction or something. Who would do that? Then the game is going to lose its fun for me. And like I've said before, I think we kind of were in agreement on this, is that the game is only good when, or the server is only unique when we successfully blend all these different play styles. So, it's just like if I'm running around role playing, right? And a PvPer comes up and kills me and stuff. And then I just whine and cry about it and I get mad and stomp my feet. And then it just continues to go on and on and on. And then eventually they, put rules in that limit that sort of thing, man. Well, you know what? That's going to just make it less fun for the PvPers. It's going to make it less fun overall for the role players because we're just going to get really bored. Personally, without the danger element in the game, I would be super bored. I wouldn't be able to sit around town and farm all day if I wasn't looking over my shoulder, But again, if it was like every single day, every time I turned around, I was getting killed or things were getting interrupted or, whatever, I would not want to do it anymore. So I guess in a way it really kind of falls on us to, try to be respectful, I guess, of other people, not overdo things when it's not necessary, We had somebody last week when we were talking about, or no, it was when I was streaming. I was streaming during a whitelist day, and somebody came up to me and KOS'd me and all of this. Okay, that was fine. Somebody in my chat was saying, well, even the best of us, we don't always role play when we come in off the coast because we're just trying to survive. We're just going to do what it takes, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about this and I'm like, all right, that's fine. So really that's actually bad form because what it does is, it just kind of implies that there are role play zones and there are non-role play zones and that the people who role play, because guess what? There are people who role play on the coast. I'm one of them. And it's not as much fun for me if I'm constantly having to fight people just because people think being on the coast is lame. Well, you know what? I created an aid station and I've got people helping with it and everything else. So if you contribute to it, then guess what? It'll be easier to get off the coast and you won't have to resort. In character, we refer to all of you guys as crackheads. You know that, the ones who come in off the coast and just attack people. The idea in character is that, well, here, we're offering you food and shelter and warmth and we're sending you on your way. You don't have to resort to the crack pipe. You just don't. You can be cool. But then again, that may be somebody's idea of winning. So anyway, I don't know. Let me see what we got going on in Discord because I think Seymour is in the house and he can't move anybody in. So yeah, if anybody wants to chat about winning and given a different perspective, hop into Discord and we'll put you in and you can chat about it. Hey, thank you for the follow. Forsyth lives. Thank you. So yeah, I just don't, I'll tell you something else about this idea of winning. If you can master this, okay, if you can master the concept of, not looking at it like, oh, there's an ultimate win or a big end game to this game, but if you look at it like there's a bunch of little victories, then you're always got a goal to strive for, instead of trying to be like, oh, I want to destroy this faction, I want to drive them into the ground, run them out. You could be like, oh, well, we're going to, take over this outpost, or we're going to disrupt them in this way. There are little things that you can do. And then when you achieve that victory, be happy about it. Be like, yay. And then they'll come back at you and do something hopefully equally annoying but not overly aggressive, and you guys can go back and forth and fight each other all day long or forever, because guess what, that's really what happens in these games, right? The Reverend Alessandro has his life after purgatory thing. If you haven't heard it yet, I don't know where you've been. Here, you can go there to my YouTube page. It's on there. But I've seen it talked about in Discord too, these wars and stuff that get started between factions that just go on forever because there are no real victory conditions that are set and everybody respawns. Nobody has to die unless they choose a permanent death situation. So it's like, well, what's the win in that? And the fact that you have to ask that question kind of makes the point that there really is no win. And that's why you'll see a lot of us trying to persuade everybody to get into into more of a storytelling uh, perspective. Because let me tell you, let me let you in on a little secret. This is one way, especially as somebody who has PvP, and I understand this conflict win scenario. But as a role player, it's kind of like I select the victory conditions. You see, because you can show up and kill me, right? And I'll just respawn. I don't have to permadie. I can just respawn. I could say, oh, it's purgatory, and I woke up. I'm being given another chance. I could say, oh, I got drunk and woke up on the coast. I could say really whatever I want, because that's what we do. We justify it however we want. So I could do any of that. You could kill me 5,000, 6,000 times, and unless I just get bored with it, you're not really winning. And what are you getting from me when you kill me and you search my body, right? You're just getting the same crap that you could get anywhere else. If anything, at best, I'm saving you the trouble, because I like to say this when I'm streaming, that I'm just making myself a loot pinata, because I'll go out looting, and then I just expect someone to pop up and kill me and then come and loot me, and then, oh, look, it was nice of him to go collect everything and bring it here. Now I'll go search someplace else. That's how I always feel when I'm playing, and I'm waiting for somebody to kill me. But, I mean, really, it's like, there's no end game to that. There's no way for you to win. The only way that you could possibly win against me, like really, I mean, unless again you just bore me out of the game, is in story. And that's really something that we have to agree on. But then again, I have to be the kind of person who can give and take in a story as well. I mean, I guess everybody involved has to be able to do that, because it's what a good story involves. It's you win but you lose, and there's conflict, and things aren't always great, even though it looks that way. I mean, there's all these different devices that we can use to tell these great and fantastic stories that often result in still getting to do PvP, still getting to raid people, still getting to do all these other things that we all like to do. Well, I mean, I would probably like to do it if I played a different character, but I really do. I believe that if we, just accept that, because remember, man, that's the goal here, is to blend the play styles and for all of us to have an opportunity to have fun. So what I'm trying to suggest is that we take the things that we feel make us win, and then we consider the things that make other people feel like they win, and then just try to work together to do it, to blend it together to where we can all win. I know I'm saying the same thing like 6 different ways, but that's really what it comes down to. And I believe in a world where this is possible. I just totally do. I think that we could. I would love to, and hopefully, guys, I've started a faction. Now, technically, I've started a group. I need a couple of more whitelisted people. Then we can make it a faction. But right now, I've started a group, okay? And one day it would be really cool to be like this big faction who could handle a war with somebody else, because it would be fun for me to talk to them, add a character, because hopefully it would be somebody who enjoyed story, and we could kind of work out some main points of things that we expect the turning points to be. Now, it doesn't matter. We can go out and be like, all right, look, man, I'm out of focus again. This thing, man, I'm telling you guys, tonight it's been rough, man. I'm going to get like real close to it so that I bet that's wonderful. That's what you guys tune in for. Seriously, man, it'll come in. But anyway, I think it would be really fun to have a group. Boy, that must be weird. There we go. To have, a group that I could go to war with and be like, all right, these are the key points. Oh yeah. I'm running it all through my head. I don't have any notes, so I have to run back through my checklist. So you don't have to like script battles or any of that kind of stuff, but it's just like, having like key points. Well, at some point you're going to do this, and it's going to affect us this way, and then you just kind of roll it out and play it. See, there you go. The bada boomer close-ups. You have to. I don't know what's going on with my stuff. Oh, thank you. See, now look, if you guys keep doing that, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that subscription. If you guys keep doing that, I'll be able to upgrade my rig to something. All right, no, it's okay. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's been going on with my gear in the last couple of days, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it. And if it keeps interfering with everything, then I'm gonna have to fix something. I don't know what it is. I have a hammer though. I have a hammer. I got a hammer over there. I'm gonna get it and we're gonna fix something. Oh man, thank you so much. Thank you for that subscription. I really appreciate it. I mean, you have no idea. It means the world to me, guys, that you guys care enough about the stuff that we're talking about here. That's right. Bada boom, man. I love it. Gift subscription, man. You're so awesome, Teddick the Medic, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, I met Blake. Was that it from Boar? That was my traveling companion. I should have wrote it down. That was my traveling companion yesterday from when I got jumped by the Cherno snipers. It might be a new thing. I don't know. I heard there might have been a baghead involved. I'm not sure. It's really hard to say because anybody can cut a hole in a bag and put it on their head. But it's okay. We turned it into a fun roleplay opportunity. So it was win-win last night is what it was. Oh my goodness. So where are we at, man? It is 9 o'clock, almost 9 o'clock. I started half an hour late. So I think things are rolling along pretty well. Again, if anybody wants to come and chat, this is the place to do it. You pop in there, hop into the waiting room, and then I'll pull you up. The only reason why I do that is because that way we don't have like everybody hopping in and trying to talk all at once, especially when we don't know what you want to talk about. I need to come up with some more filler stuff. Today it was rough. I don't know why my computer shut down on me. Yesterday it was the wireless adapter that went out. And I replaced that. But what I suspect that my computer is tired of me using Streamlabs OBS. And I've got like these different, not scenes, but groups, whatever, set up. I had one for each game for a while. And I realized that it was actually pulling up all this stuff at the same time. And so it was using a lot of resources that I didn't need it to. That's when I decided that I was going to switch to OBS Studio. And I'm kind of wondering if it's overheating my processor, maybe. But that would kind of explain why everything shut down on me earlier and then was sluggish when I turned it back on because I had to reboot it. I had to let it chill for a minute. But I can sympathize, I mean, all this gray is for real. See, I didn't diet, I'm not trying to be like trendy or anything. I'm the real deal, man. That's grit is what that is. Salt of the earth and grit. Oh, you're getting the close up again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the camera today, but it's okay. Now you're getting to see everything kind of like me. Boomer. But hey, look, it got into focus without even getting close. I like it. I don't know, man. I think it's a little confused. I will tell you that one thing that we'll probably be doing, because the group that I'm starting is called Golgotha, which I like to say. I like to say as the Reverend Alessandro. It's Golgotha, just so you know. Anyway, I get to use the tag goth in Discord, which is a special thrill for me. Because, I did come from I was born in the 70s. I grew up in the 80s and was a young adult in the 90s. So I was down with the golf culture. I was down with golf culture. We like to wear loud clothes and hit a little ball with a stick. It was fantastic. No, so I finally got my Snap camera up and working again, and so I just wanted to let you know that now that we have, I know it's coming now that we have Golgotha as an unofficial group. I'm bringing back in Bada Gloomer. That's right. It's Bada Gloomer. By the powers of darkness, I come forth to extinguish the light. No. Anyway, so yeah, just for giggles. You'll have that. Did I read Blue Blood magazine? No, but I know what you're talking about, Alex. What's up, man? No, I tried to tell her. I tried to tell you, but I wasn't a big vampire fan. I wasn't the vampire guy. I did like the women. I'll tell you that. And I was young and single then. It's okay. I wasn't always a reverend, you know. But no, I was more of a werewolf guy. So if you're referring to the White Wolf thing at all, because that was a big popular thing at the time, you know, along with all the Anne Rice stuff, there was not very much love for werewolf culture back then, but that's okay. That's why I say when I was a goth, I was the angry punk kind of goth, not the weepy sad goth we've come to know as emo. Although, where is it? Oh, there it is. It's the weepy sad goth. No. We weren't that. I really wish that that Twitch still had its integrations, because I had Snapchat integration with Twitch when they allowed it, and it was pretty rad. And you guys were able to put filters on me and stuff, and we used to have fun. But now I have to do it myself, so it's whenever the mood strikes me. Anyway, guys, so I'm glad that you're enjoying the show. I guess what we'll do is move along. The other major topic that I wanted to talk about. I hope you guys got something out of the winning thing. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir a lot when we're doing the gaming workshop. But as I like to point out, you know, even the choir has to be singing the same song. Otherwise, nobody will get the message, right? So it's all good. I have a feeling that most of you guys pretty much understand these concepts anyway. But one thing I would like to talk about is the don't be a jerk rule. Okay, this is like it's a very confusing rule for a lot of people, and I'd like to start with the name. I mean, don't be a jerk. It's, you know, it already from the very beginning, it's starting out kind of negative. You know, it's like, don't be a jerk, man. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of, you know, I'm not about the feels, but when you're trying to convey a point to somebody, it's harder when you're like, hey, you're doing this wrong. You know, I don't know. It's also not very accurate, you know, because I've even thought it myself. You know, if somebody was to come and like raid me or whatever, I'm like, man, what a jerk. You know, why are you being a jerk? Why are you coming or like those guys that snipe me out? They were just being jerks, man. They knew I wasn't there to fight anybody. I was just chilling. I was just planting my vegetables, man. Why they got to come and shoot me, man? Why they got to be a jerk? You know, that's not what it means at all. Oddly enough. No, I was thinking about it, you know, and I decided personally that I would prefer if it was called maybe the fair play rule or guideline or something like that. I don't really like calling rules guidelines because it sounds disingenuous, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just a rule, just say it's a rule, you know. But and then people are always like, well, you didn't say it was a rule, you said it was a guideline, you know, and it's just dumb. So but I like fair play. I like that sound. The sound of that sounds a little better. It's more positive for one. You know, it's like, you know, come on, fair play. I mean, it's hard to argue against fair play. But now, and you can't worry about it, because guess what? Fair play is just as ambiguous as don't be a jerk. It's just a little more positive, I think. And it's a little more accurate, too, because, look, the don't be a jerk rule, I understand, okay? This is the point of the don't be a jerk rule. It's basically don't take things too far is the bottom line of what it is. I mean, you know, if somebody, you know, you want to be a weirdo, roleplay, torture, or rape or something, and somebody doesn't want that, don't be a jerk. You got to stop. If somebody, you know, you raid somebody and, you know, you come back and raid them again and again and again, you know, don't be a jerk, man. It's like bad enough what you're doing. Just don't be a jerk. Don't overdo it. And it's really that simple. Sadly, though, there's always a lot of conflict and controversy about what is too much and what isn't. And I mean, really, you kind of got it. I want to avoid phrases like common sense because it is kind of common sense. I mean, look, man, you go and you raid somebody, fine, you raid them. All right? There's no reason to go back. Like, period. Unless they answer back. And then if they answer back, well, then that's different because then they're like, okay, well, I got a piece and they came and got a piece. All right, well, I'm going to come and get 2 pieces now. You know, it's like it's okay to escalate things too. It's just it's got to be in proportion. You know, you can't just go and be like, well, I don't like these guys, so I'm just going to rate them and rate them and rate them and rate them until they just give up. That's no fun. We've already covered that a little bit in the winning portion of the show. You can back up if this is on YouTube. But the same can be true of in pretty much any interaction that we have with each other, you know. It's like if I wanted to like walk around and preach to everybody, okay, you know, well, actually, this is probably a bad example because there's an end game answer to this. And I was going to say, if I was walking around preaching to somebody and just annoying the crap out of them and following them around, I'm being a jerk. But truth be told, they could just turn around and shoot me in the face and then be done with it. I couldn't very well complain that they were being a jerk if they did. But now if every single time they saw me, they walked up to me and shot me, maybe there's an argument to be made that they're being a jerk. You never expected for anyone to get bullied off of the server. I agree with you completely, Alex, and I don't think that should ever be a tactic. Honestly, I don't know anybody reasonable who does. And I'm not even sure. I mean, there are people. Okay, look, man, I give people the benefit of the doubt all the time, whether or not they deserve it, because I don't know. It's just who I am now. I didn't used to be this way, but now I am. Whatever. But I like to think that people aren't thinking of it that way, which is why I wanted to bring it up, why I was hoping that we would get to discuss it tonight, because, you know, I think that a lot of times people just do things, you know, because they can, and especially in a virtual setting or a video game setting, you know. They're like, oh, well, I can do, I said as will. I see it a lot of times in pretty much every type of game. I was thinking like Dead by Daylight. You see people who are just like completely outclass the person they're playing against. And so then they'll do things like they'll taunt them like teabag and, you know, do other, you know, offensive things to, you know, just rub their noses in it, unsportsmanlike conduct, you know, that kind of stuff. People just, you know, just do that kind of stuff all the time. And it's really unfortunate because it's true, you don't really expect it to happen here. And so that's why there's a don't be a jerk rule. Because also it's not just, man, you like how I looped that back around? It's not just about the things that you do. It can be about the things you say too. It could be about the way someone's treated. It could even be things that happen off server. Like if, say, for instance, I have a beef with somebody, and so, yeah, you tell them from the 80s, where's the beef? I have a beef with somebody, and so I address them OOC, right? Which is kind of an adult way to go about it. But then if they're like real derogatory to me, or on the inverse, I'm like, dude, why are you such a ass? Why? You know, and I approach it that way, then they could easily report me. Guess what? I'm being a jerk. And, you know, that's why I understand don't be a jerk. I understand why it's called that. I still would like to see, if anybody agrees with me, just let me know. You know, maybe I'm just, you know, because I think about why things are called the things that they are and the kind of impact that they have. Because when you think about it, like I read Discord a lot, and you hear people come in and they complain sometimes, well, this guy was being a jerk. Or even I'll say it, oh, this guy was just a jerk, you know, but it's not talking about the rule, which gets to be confusing, you know. Excuse me. That was awful. I need to set up a quick mute for my mic. That way you don't have to listen to all my wonderful bodily functions here. Let me get something going. And you guys feel free to correct me if I'm wrong or offer alternate opinions. I just really feel like that's really all there is to it. And it's easy, I think, for me to not be a jerk in that way, to not play, you know, to where people are going to feel that way about me, because I try to put other people first. You know, it comes back to that win mentality, I guess, because I'm not, my idea of winning isn't overly aggressive. Even if I played a PvP character, which I do have an alternate character, which I kind of hinted about last time, and he's a little bit more aggressive. But even if I was to play that character, I really couldn't see myself running around just randomly killing people and, just, hey, look at this, man, and you turn around and then I just shoot you. I just I don't see myself doing that, because there's always something more to be gained from an encounter than just picking over their corpse and picking up their stuff. Even if that's the end result, and it might end up being that, I may have always intended to kill the person that I interact with, I'm still going to try to bring something out of it, just something fun. And if I really just need to just pop off some shots and kill somebody, man, there are like 50 different games that I could pick right now. Many of them free to play where you could do exactly that, and I mean, there are DayZ servers dedicated to that. So, then again, if I didn't want any PvP kind of encounters either, I wouldn't be playing on Doug either. So I guess it's just the idea of having a well-rounded experience. If you're always coming into this game in this server expecting to have a well-rounded experience, then over, a few play sessions, you're going to have a well-rounded experience. You're going to experience pretty much everything the game has to offer and the server has to offer. And I think it all really boils down to just how we look at things ourselves, And I think if we start talking the same way, like in Discord and when we're talking to new players and we're showing them how to play and whatnot, then we're gonna swing this culture back around to a more of a fair play kind of thing, which I think is what people feel like is kind of lacking right now. And I don't really feel it. Maybe I just haven't been griefed enough. I use that word. I hesitate when I use that word, griefed, because it doesn't really, it really just depends. I mean, it's like if somebody's just overdoing it, they're being a jerk. Yeah, you're being griefed, but people overuse that term so much that I try not to. I try not to overuse it unless it's something very deliberate. And that's another thing too, man. I feel like we kind of we don't like we have our expectations of winning and losing set really high, and then we lose and we feel like the other person's being a jerk, and then we're running around bad mouthing them, talking about them behind their backs, reporting them. Then anybody has an encounter with them ends up reporting them, and then the next thing you know, everybody's having a problem. It's just, man, I wish more people could just be more relaxed when it comes to this stuff, man, because I understand, man, when we play these games, we're in them and we play them a lot. It ends up being a large portion of our lives, and we, it all becomes so personal and so real to us, and it's like you run around and somebody kills you, man, and it's like, oh, and people freak out. I lost my gear. They interrupted my role play. Everything's just like the end of the world, man, but it really doesn't have to be. Oh my goodness, guys. I am kind of running out, man. Do you guys have anything that you want to talk about? Anything that you want to ask Bada Boomer? Any things going on with the game that doesn't involve anyone directly? You have any opinions on Don't Be a Jerk or the alternate fair play rules? Maybe it would be nice if there was another word other than rules, but guidelines sound like a suggestion, and rules aren't a suggestion. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway. All right, guys. Well, I don't know. What else is there? What is there for me to talk about? We got stuff going on at the church down in Cherno. You ought to come down and check it out. This is OOC, so I'm just saying, if you happen to pass by, you should stop by the church. It's pretty interesting. It's this giant building with a gold thing on top. You can't miss it. It's over by the water wheel. You can come by and say hi to the Reverend Alessandro. Sometimes. Just try to behave yourself, because the Lord is always watching. And you can't kill me anyway, so you might as well stop trying. Oh, my goodness. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's that. I'm going to probably wrap it up then. We don't have anything else going on. Just making sure, because, we can talk about anything, man. If anybody has any problems with coming up with character backgrounds or, character direction or story or pretty much any of that, man, you guys can always find me on the Discord. And I am more than willing to work out any story angles with you guys to help you come up with killer ideas and ways to make your PvP and your gaming experience on Doug more interesting. We've got other volunteers as well who are willing to help out. And the main thing is that we all understand in character versus out of character, which is, something else I'll go ahead and point out about the anecdote I've been talking about all night, the fun with the snipers in Cherno. Let me tell you that, as I had mentioned, and I know I pointed it out, but not why, that I knew that these two guys coming over the tracks were most likely the guys sniping everybody out. But I didn't just and they even ran in front of me at one point. I mean, I could have pulled my gun and at least taken one of them out. But I didn't do it because I knew it as a player. I knew it that had to have been those guys. But Alessandro wasn't quite sure. And that's the thing. From the direction that they were coming, the story that they had, the way they were acting very well. So Alessandro really didn't know. And I had to take that into account. I'm telling you guys, you know what? Maybe next week, let me write this down. Maybe next week we'll do in character versus out of character. Maybe that'll be the topic next week. And then we'll find another topic to weave into it. I do know that next week is going to be Friday at noon. Well, maybe not at noon. It's going to be between 12 noon and 4 p.m. Eastern time. Maybe we'll do 2 p.m. again. That seemed to work really well when it was on Tuesday. So we'll try that. I think we'll go through the full schedule, and then I'll probably decide on a couple of times. We'll narrow it down, and I think probably by then we'll have whatever we determine to be the best time to get as many people watching live as we can. So I know a lot of you guys will see this on YouTube, and I want you to know, no homework. I know, man. Look, it's going to be an easy week this week. I had all these technical difficulties when we started, and I was late. So to make up for it, yes, there'll be no homework this week. It's only fair. But no, man, seriously, if you guys have any problems trying to integrate, role player, trying to figure out a story, especially that, because I feel like for the PvP players, there's not really much I could teach role players about PvP personally. Maybe we'll have a PvP expert on. You can come in and talk about DayZ PvP, because to me the physics suck. It's like the worst. It's like one of the worst PvP games there are for me. I am used to Call of Duty and all these other games that have up-to-date engines that go quickly, and that when you pew pew, the bullets go right where you're aiming, and when you shoot them, as opposed to like a second later, or maybe mystery shots or ghost shots or whatever it is they call them in this game. You shoot somebody in the face with the 357. I know that doesn't necessarily kill everybody, but are you kidding me a little bit? Come on, man. Anyway, So maybe we'll have somebody on who could really help us to understand the PvP thing. But as a role player in DayZ, okay, I feel if you have a story element behind the action, it really enhances the action. It gives the action meaning and purpose. And that's really what we want out of life, isn't it? Meaning and purpose. People spend their entire lives searching for purpose and meaning in their lives. And here you have the option. You can just invent it. It's yours for the taking, purpose and meaning. Can't make it any easier than that, guys. But if you need any assistance in assigning purpose and meaning to your life, I'm more than willing to help you at Bada Boomer Live. I almost made it an hour tonight. If you guys wanted to hop in and say something, we would keep it going. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a break. And then I'm going to come back. And I'm going to stream. And then anybody who wants to come back can watch me stream. And we'll talk about all kinds of things as the Reverend Alessandro. I'll play in character. Right now he's in the middle of somewhere. I don't know what he's doing. He's looking to get killed, probably. Anyway, guys. All right, fine. I'm going to go. I hope you guys have enjoyed the evening. And I hope that you continue to enjoy your evening. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the love, guys, because that's going to keep me going. And we'll be back next week. Right now, well, let's slow my roll here. What is today? Today is Wednesday. We'll be back in a few minutes with more Bada Boomer Live. But then we'll be back on Friday. We'll be back on Friday just for regular streaming, and then we'll be back the following Friday. That's confusing. I love it. That's okay. Just check out the Discord. I'll let you know. I'll have my schedule up. We'll know what's up, and we'll do this again. There we go. We'll do this again soon, guys. Oh my goodness, I had nothing working today. I'm telling you, all my stuff is falling apart. We're gonna go. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna bail, and I'll be back, and I'm gonna stop saying it because this time it's true. Later, guys. No outro music, man. This is how awful I am. I'm such a bad host.